Thank you. Hi friends, how are you all? I understand it's a little bit sunny today, and but I'm sure that it's still much better than the pour down. At least the sunshine is better than the rain, I hope. Yeah. At the outset, I would like to thank the Global Shapers Imphal and the Shalom Academy for inviting me and to share this moment with you all, the young minds and the future of our nation. I'm extremely glad and I'm happy that I can make it today. And I also would like to give my deepest respect to my other colleagues who are the resource person for today, Mr. Rainy Singh. He was a former captain to the national football team, and also to Mr. Deepak Bishta, Lieutenant Colonel to the Indian Army. And I also give my respect to the school faculties and the principal and all the staffs. Yeah, I have been playing a football match in the last 3 days, and I'm extremely exhausted physically. But still, I will try my best to keep you alive and to at least deliver few thoughts which I feel is necessary. I wasn't informed that this program is about career counseling. I was told that I would be interacting with some number of students, but I wasn't exactly mentioned that it will be about career counseling. So nevertheless, yeah, it's all the same after all. So I would like to pitch in about the career counseling as well. Yeah, my name is Angshim. I belong to Marine community. It's a very small community. And I did my 10th from Palel, St. Joseph High School, 12th from Royal Academy of Sciences, Wangkhei. Then in 2011, I got into MBBS course at JNIMS Koraopokpi Then I completed in the year 2017. Then in the year 2018, I gave my civil service exam, and yeah, I cleared it, and I am a 2019 batch IS officer. So, to start with, let me share one small incident. In the year 2017, when I was doing my internship as a medical graduate, it was in the Department of Medicine. So one fine evening, I was on emergency duty along with my teachers, along with my senior doctors. There came a lady, I think she might be about 40, 45, I guess. So she was brought in a stretcher in an unconscious state of mind. So we came to know that she had been having a diabetes, extreme high level of blood sugar. So she was brought unconscious because of extreme level of blood sugar. In medical term, we call it diabetic ketoacidosis, diabetic DKA coma. So she was brought in a comatose state. Now, after lots of hard work, after a very, I should say, efficient teamwork, our doctors on duty who were on emergency that day, we were somehow able to save her. And we somehow could save her life, but she was still unconscious. But we managed to put her vitals in a safe side. Now that day happened to be my last day as a medical professional. I had applied for leave. I had applied for my resignation because I wanted to go for my civil service preparation. So after 3 days, I was supposed to leave for Delhi. So now that was my last day, and we left the passengers like that. She was already safe. Then 2 days later, when I was about to leave for Delhi, so I went again another round to the hospital wards just to say hi and to bid goodbye to my colleagues, to the nurses and the medical staffs. And there lies a lady on her bed. She was sitting comfortably. She was conscious. She was able to understand, but still very weak. So I went to her bed and I asked her, Auntie, are you fine now? Are you alright? And in surprise, she looked back at me, and then, she was not able to know me. She was not able to recollect who I am. Because she was conscious when we first met her. Now, at that moment, the nurses came and told her that, Nene, this guy is one of the doctors on that day when you came to hospital. He was in the team who saved your life. And the moment when the nurse told her that, she started crying. She started weeping. So after that, we went to doctor's room. I had my senior teacher who is a cardiologist. So he said to me, Angshim, you are planning for civil service. Now you're planning to leave. Now, I understand that you being in a bureaucracy, being in the service will yield you a lot of power and a lot of authorities to do a lot of things in your life for your society, for the needy people. But you could see with your own eyes that the person whom we could save her life, the kinds of happiness, the relief, the satisfaction in her eyes, from her face, you may not get in civil service. Because basically, it's just a second to God, the work that we did. We saved her life. So, I couldn't deny that. I couldn't disagree to what he was saying. That's very true. Right? But I told my teacher, I told him that that's very true. Nobody can deny that. But, I just want to tell you, in life, we are not meant to be everything that we see. Alright? You, we all are not meant to be everything that we see with our eyes. We are meant to become somebody. We are meant to find our own calling in our life. You are meant to find the purpose of your life, what you are meant to do in your life. God has given you just one life, and it's our duty to find out what fits me the best in this life. In this one lifetime that I have been given, what is that one perfect role that I'm supposed to play in our society? So, since it's career counseling, I thought I would start with this short story. You all must be confused. Many of you may be confused what you will do in your life 10, 20 years down the line. I was also in the similar condition like you. We all were once. So it's not, wrong, or it's nothing strange to be in that state of mind. You have seen many people in your life. You have seen different personalities. You have seen different fields of work of life with your own eyes. Teachers, politicians, bureaucrats, and people in military, doctors, engineers. So you must be all confused in your mind. What am I supposed to do? Well, I would like to just give you 3 very, very important points, factors that will help you decide what you should, what will determine you to become in the future, what your future should be like. There are a lot of things, a lot of speakers would have said a lot of things, a lot of professional career counselors will say many things, but I would like to sum up 3 very important factors. Number 1, the so-called passion. So, when we say passion, again, most of you are still very young. You may not understand what passion is also again. Passion is not just a hobby. Passion is something much, much more than a hobby. Something you really love to do. Something you crave for it. Some things you'd like to go on doing day and night. Something that will disturb your mind, which will make you crave to do. You want to play football. You love singing. Let's say you love swimming, or you love to do gardening, or you love dancing. It should not be just liking it. It's something that's much more than liking it. You have to crave for it. Something you desire a lot. And I know, especially our students from the hills, we have a lot of passions. most of us have many hobbies. We are somehow good in almost everything, but we don't excel in one thing. So it is extremely important for us to differentiate what is hobbies and what is the goal, what is the vision of your life, what is passion and what is hobby. It's extremely important for you to differentiate this. Now, again, some of us, especially the young ones, may still not know what you like also, what you are interested also. With time, you will come to know. But the best thing that you can do at this point of time is you have to explore a lot. You have to experiment a lot. You have to get involved. When there's a sports meet going on, you have to get involved. When there's a cultural meet going on in the school, you have to get involved. When there's a social work going on in your locality, get involved in it. That way you'll somehow develop what your passion is about. But I'm sure this will come with time as you grow up. Now, the second thing is, well, many of us, the friends from our state, Manipur and Northeast, we have passion. We like to become, I'll just take the example of my own profession. We would love to become a civil servant. We see the deputy commissioners going in a road, with the escorts, with the flag posts, with the sirens and all these things. That somehow, inspired you and then you want to become civil service. So now, do you think just wanting to become civil service, just wanting to do it, having the passion alone, it's enough? It's never enough. It's never enough. I'll just give you a few numbers here. In my time, it was the civil service examination 2018. In 2018, I get my prelims in the month of June. So there were 5 lakhs applicants to write the preliminary exam. 5 lakh students. Now, out of these 5 lakh students who wrote their prelims, about 10,000 cleared prelims and they wrote the mains exam. Okay. Now, out of these 10,000 students who went on to write the mains exam, about 3,000 cleared mains and were qualified to give their personality test. They were qualified for interview basically. Now, again, out of these 3,000 aspirants who went and sat at the Dholpur house in Delhi, where the UPSC Bhawan is there, where the interviews are conducted, out of these 3,000, in my time, in 2018, 783 were selected in the final merit list. Okay, you can understand the figures here. 5 lakhs, 10,000, 3,000, then final merit list was 783. Now, these 783 are the total merit list, but we have about 30 services to be allotted to these 783 people. And it has been the norm that most of us, when we talk about civil service, we mostly think about the Indian Administrative Service and maybe IPS. So out of these 783 people who were finally in the merit list, 180 were able to make it into IAS. Now, you can see the figures again, how it has narrowed down. What I'm trying to say is that the success rate is extremely low. If you calculate, it's much lesser than 0.1% also. 0.000 somewhere percent. So, now, coming back to the first point. Do you think you having a passion to do something in your life is enough? Never. Having a passion is just the start. That's just a spark. It is much more than that. You have to be extremely good at it. Now, do you think any student who aspires to become a civil service will go to Delhi, join a coaching center without any confidence? Do you think any student who thinks that I will not be able to clear the exam, but still I will go to Delhi and write the exam, do you think that will there be such people? No. It's going to take both your time and money, right? So whoever has gone to Delhi, settle down there, and give heart and soul into it, they have the confidence. They think that somehow they can do it. What I'm trying to say, you have classes here, you have the exams, you have toppers, top 5, top 10. So most of these aspirants who are working for this exam were once the toppers in their class. I was topper till my class 12. What I'm trying to say is that the people who are into the competition are not there just for namesake. They were like you. They come from different corners of the country, from Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Rajasthan to Arunachal, all corners of the country they came, thinking that he or she is qualified, thinking that, I'm good enough. I have been toppers in my class, so I can do this. Now, when such all qualified people come together, having the same passion, going to fight for the same, battle, if you think that having the passion alone is going to suffice, you are very wrong. That's where you need to be really good at it. Number 1 was having the passion, finding out your passion. Number 2 is you have to be very good at it. You may have 2-3 passions. You may have 2-3 more hobbies, but you have to find out which one is going to be feasible for you. Like, I love playing football since I was very young. I played a lot. I even participated in district leagues and all. But at that time, I know when I was young, God has not given me the height. Alright. And to be in a physical sports like football, you need certain minimum, basic physical to compete in a very tough level. So I realized that it's not going to be my future. And at that time, unlike now, there was not much prospect again. Today we have like ISLs and all. It's very good. It has a very good prospect today to be a footballer. But that time there was not much. So I realized, I have a passion for playing football. I love singing a lot. I play music, I play guitar, I play piano. But I know that these are just hobbies. This cannot be my life. So I have to decide what I have to become. On the basis of that, I have to decide. Right. So I realized that academics was the only option for me. I mean, I should not say only, but the best ones for me, best one. So like that, you may have a lot of passion in your life, you may have a lot of hobbies, students, but you have to find out which one is most feasible for you, which one is most likely to suit you, given your talents. And you have to be extremely good at it. In career counseling, there is something called hedgehog principle. Later on, you Google and find it out. Hedgehog is a small animal. Okay, it's a small animal like a porcupine. Very slow, very dummy, very, stupid-looking animal. But there is an animal called fox. Fox, right? Fox is a very bright, colorful, fast-running, and very cunning animal. Every time this fox try to capture the hedgehog, every time he tries, he still fails. Because this hedgehog has a spike on its body, and then every time the fox tries to capture him, he can, shoot out its spike and then attack the fox. You see, the fox is very beautiful looking, colorful, fast running, very cunning, and he can play, he can act like he's dead to captivate the hedgehog. He has got a lot of qualities. But the hedgehog is a small, dummy, very dull-looking animal, not talented. The fox is very talented in many things. The hedgehog is not talented, but he is extremely good in just one thing. That's what? Defend himself. And he can succeed in that. So you may be having a lot of hobbies here. You may be having a lot of passions. You may be good in many things. But that will not make you excel. You need to find out where you are extremely good at. You have to find out that. Otherwise, there's a saying, jack of all trades but master of none. So you'll become just like that. You won't be that shining star in the society. You may be talk among the friend circles, oh, he's very talented, he's multi-talented, but you will not be the shining star. Like we have our own resource person today. He is one of the shining star because he's good at what he do. Something like that, you have to find out. Alright? And you have to be extremely hardworking when I say good at it. Skills and talents and gift alone is not enough. You have to work very hard. I studied about 10 to 12 hours, 8 to 12 hours in a day for the exam. And I'm not exaggerating it. And I'm not trying to intimidate you. It was necessary. So on an average, I think I studied 8 hours in a day. Because I had to go coaching, and it was my first attempt. And with no background about the humanities, I just passed off my MBBS without any prior preparation. It was extremely challenging for me. So, and you will face a lot of hardships, challenges in your life, downs, physically down, mentally down. There was time when I got exhausted so much. Only one thing kept me going on. One thing that kept me motivated all the time was, I remember the people back at home. I prepared my exam in Delhi, so I remember my people back at home whenever I'm down. I remember, I could picturize their faces. I thought to myself, these people are waiting for me. These people need me. Sooner or later, they will need my help. So I have to come back successful. That's what I kept challenging myself, And I consider myself inside a room, surrounded by 4 walls. I consider myself in a room with a tall wall, and the other side of the wall is our society. So I thought, today I am struggling so hard. I'm spending days with sweats and night without proper sleep for a while. If I can't climb over this wall and present myself to the society which is on the other side of the wall, then my entire struggle, whatever I have been working on, it's going to be waste. It's going to be wasted. And the story that I used to share one day, my struggle, my hardships, will be buried when I die, along in my grave. Nobody will dare to hear us. Nobody would bother to even share or take time to listen to my stories. That's a challenge that I used to throw myself. So when you are down, when you are so down physically, mentally, you have to challenge yourself. Find a way to motivate yourself. That's what I challenge myself, I have to climb this wall. I've started climbing. I know I'm tired. I know I'm exhausted, but I have to climb somehow. So that one day, I'll get an opportunity, to share to the society about my struggle. Otherwise, I will not climb over the wall. If I don't clear the exam, I will not climb over the wall. I will not get opportunity to share to our society like today. And my story will be gone to drain. When I die, will be buried along with me in my grave. So, you have to challenge yourself. Now, a lot of things can be said, but let's make it short. You have passion, number 1, right? For your career, you have to find out passion. Number 2, you have to find out what you're really good at. Don't be very, imaginative in deciding your future. Be practical. Find out what you're extremely good at, like the hedgehog, not about your multiple talents. All right. Then number 3, about this third point, people may, differ on this, but given the circumstances we all grow up, the situation where we are right now, being in a very remote part of the country and in a very societal kind of system that we live in, I must say, the financial earning prospect of the career is very important. How many of you think that if I have enough money, if I have salary, that's going to feed my family, me and my family, I am satisfied in life? Can I see hands? How many of you think like that? How many of you think that if you have a salary, that will help you feed your family, feed your wife, give school fees for your children, then I'm satisfied in life? How many of you think like that? Can I see? Please be frank. No one thinks like that? You are very advanced. I'm glad. If I don't know if you're shy, but if you think that you are not that in that category of the people, then I'm glad you are very advanced in your thinking this thinking way. Well, how many of you have seen a pregnant lady taken to hospitals in a stretcher with a bamboo and a cloth, a shawl? A stretcher made with bamboo, taken a pregnant lady or any sick person in the remote village. How many of you seen, at least in pictures and photos? Lots of you. How many of you have you seen the picture of our own district in our state, Tamenglong, where a vehicle got stuck in a very bad condition road where the elephant has to pull the vehicle out? Have you seen the picture? No. Have you seen any picture of a house being gutted down by a fire? Burned down by a fire, just like that in the moment? You have seen, right? How many of you have seen an old lady going to a field, very old lady who is supposed to be resting properly at home, old lady going to a field with a basket on her back full of vegetables? How many of you seen that? You have seen, I'm sure. Now, if you think, if you have a salary that's going to give you a decent house, and that's going to give you a decent car, if you think that you're going to be satisfied with that, I would like to, pause for a moment and think about all these people. Do you think if you have a good house and have a good car, and when you look to your right, if you see an old lady coughing day and night, suffering from terminal tuberculosis, family not able to take her to hospital because of the fear of the debt, fear of the financial, expenses. And how many of you think that, like I said, a pregnant lady taken with a stretcher to the hospital, a children which is supposed to be going to school, who is supposed to be sitting like you here, not going to school, and then helping her parents in a hotel washing dishes? Do you think that you will be satisfied as a human being? Do you think that you will be so blind, you can turn blind eye to this kind of people? It's going to be extremely difficult if you are a human. I'm not saying human being. If you are a human, it's going to be extremely tough for you to just ride a good car, put up a tinted glass, and then not see your surrounding. It's going to be very tough. That's why the financial earning prospect of your career is very important. Let's talk about just example. I'm not, talking low about any profession here. Let's talk about, let's say, a person is doing a knitting of a traditional muffler, let's say. If that person belongs to a small tribe like my community, Maring, how many people do you think will buy a Maring muffler in a month? It's going to be in few numbers, right? Now he or she is going to invest a lot of labor on it, but the market prospect is very low. That's not going to suffice to help your family, at least your family also. Now you may love to do about this muffler, you may love to do the knitting, but the financial prospect that is expected from this profession is very low. It's not going to help you survive. So that is why when you decide career, the financial prospect, the earning prospect of the career is also extremely important. People from Delhi, people from Bangalore, Mumbai may say otherwise. We don't care. They are not us. We are us, right? Our scenario is different from theirs. Their family, they belong to a multiple generation, government employee families, businessmen. They don't care about earning. They can do what they love to do, but it's not the case for you and I. We can't just do that. We also need to earn, not only for me, but for my family, for my relatives, for my village, for my community, for our district, for our state. There was a fire incident in Chandil. At the moment, the house was just burned down in the moment. And in government, in us, the house fire doesn't come under disaster relief. So unlike landslides, floods and all, we can't just issue checks and then give them money because it's not there in the provision. Now, you being SDO of a subdivision, if people come and tell you that house has been burned down just like that, even in my own subdivision, there's a village called Kangoi Khullen. Now people come and tell you that the house has been burned down, just like that. Properties worth lakhs and then monetary, even cash burned down, something like that. Now, do you just tell them, I'm sorry, I would love to help, but this doesn't. Do you think that you will have a good sleep after saying them and just turning them away just like that? Never. It's not going to be. So that is why you need to have at least decent salary, where apart from your own family and your children, you also will be in the position to help other people who are extremely in need of your help. That is why the financial earning prospect of the career choice that you make is also extremely important. Okay, so 3 things. Passion, what you really love to do, and number 2, what you are really good at, you have to find out that. Number 3, the financial earning prospect of the career. I'm sure there are a lot of things about career counseling, but these 3 things, according to me, are the basic ones in determining for the young people like you to decide what you want to become in your life. Alright, so now, coming to the last part, apart from the career choice, why do we need to make a career choice? Why do you need to study so hard today? Dear students, I want you to listen carefully. I want to throw this challenge to you as your elder, growing up from some environment like you, okay? Why do you have to study so hard today? Why do you have to go to school? Why do you have to attend classes? Why do you have to write exams and top the class? Like I said, you learn today. Remember, you learn today so that tomorrow you can lead. Okay? You don't learn today so that you can feed your family tomorrow. That's not the only purpose. You work so hard today, you study so hard today, you learn today, tomorrow you can be the leaders in our society. Okay? You would have seen a lot of IS officers before, you would have seen a lot of politicians, you would have seen army officers before, you would have seen professionals, doctors, engineers, teachers. But our society, listen to me, our society is not in short of such people. Our society is not in shortage of such personalities, but we are in shortage of leaders. We are lacking leadership in our society. We don't just need politicians, we don't just need an IS officer, we not only need a doctor and engineers and teachers, but we need leaders in these people. Okay? We need leaders in these people. So tomorrow, today you're studying so hard, today you're working so hard, so that tomorrow when you become these people, when you become a politician, when you become a public figure, when you become a bureaucrat, when you become a doctors and engineers, don't be just these people. I want you to be leaders with these professions and not as part of you. Because our society lacks leadership today. There is so much of chaos, so much of divisions and fragmentation, disintegration in our society. In Manipur, you can see we have a lot of differences between valley and hills. In the hills, we have differences between Nagas and Kukis. Among the Nagas, a lot of tribes again. Too much of fragmentations and divisions. We need leadership. We need a young generation like you who will grow up not knowing about the differences, but who will grow up with the love and unity and harmony of these different groups of people. I think it was in 1893, I guess. Do you know who is Swami Vivekananda? Yeah. So there was a conference, World Conference of Religion in 1893 in Chicago. This Swami Vivekananda said, I'll tell you what he said. If I am a Hindu and if I ask a Christian to become a Hindu, God forbid, that doesn't allow me. If a Christian cannot ask a Hindu man to become a Christian, neither to a Muslim or Islam, God forbid that. He said, okay, he said, when a seed is planted under the ground, we put water, right? We put mud, and the seed gets air from the atmosphere, right? So when the seed grow up, the seed doesn't grow up as a water. The The seed doesn't get transformed into a mud and grow up. The seed doesn't become air. Right? What do the seed become? It becomes a plant. The seed that we planted takes the mud from the ground, takes water that we have been watering, takes the air from the atmosphere, and it becomes a beautiful plant. Right? I'm told that this school consists of students from different communities, Kukis, Meitei, Nepalese. Now, it's a perfect platform for you to nurture your mindset. You may be Kuki, you may be Nepali, you may be Meitei, you may be Hindu Christian. You don't sit here just to read books. You have to imbibe these characters of oneness, love and harmony among one another. So that tomorrow you become, you build a better society. You take the good things about the other, take the good things about the other party, make a better society. And it's your job. It's a matter of few years. You are going to find yourself in my position and don't preach about this. You may think that you are still very young, but not. Okay, so last point now to end with. Remember always this in your mind. In 1947, when India got independence, on the eve of independence, tonight the independence was going to be announced, but just before that, in the Constituent Assembly, how many of you have heard the word called Constituent Assembly? I'm sure the higher class students would have heard that. Our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, said in the Constituent Assembly, very strong and meaningful sentence, which is my favorite. He said, the ambition of the greatest man of our generation has been to wipe out every tears from every eye. Let me repeat. The ambition of the greatest man of our generation today has been to wipe out every tears from every eye. It sounds very impossible, right? How can you remove tears from every eye? As a human being, it's not possible. It's extremely difficult. But he went on to say further. He went on with further quote. He said, that may be beyond our abilities. That may be impossible for us. He said, to wipe out every tear from every eye may be impossible for us. But he said, but as long as there is tears and suffering, so long our work will not be over. You got what I'm saying? Can you understand? Please tell me, are you able to understand or not? Because I want you to understand. I'll explain it if you don't understand. I know you're still a bit young to grasp this, but I'll try to explain it. I feel very important. What our first Prime Minister said is the greatest ambition of you and me is to remove the suffering and tears of everybody. He said it may be very difficult for us to do that, but as long as there are suffering and tears, our work will not be over. That means we should never stop working for our society, at least to contribute something to elevate pain and suffering in our society. That is the true purpose of you and I being born, being put on this earth. To have a decent salary and then to feed your family, have a decent house, have a decent car is not the only purpose of your life. You need to contribute to the society. Make sure that the society, when you came onto this world, it's not the same case when you leave this world. You contribute and then make it better. So with this, I would like to end my short speech. I hope you are young, but one day I hope you will remember what I said. Few things that are very close to my heart. I won't, bother much to share such things with the very elderly people, but I would rather, take time to share with young people like you because you matter the most. Few years from today, you will find in our position and then you will preach the same thing. Thank you all. Have a nice evening.
Guys, you have any question?
respectful chair, once again, a very good morning. It's been a privilege for all of us to be a part of your Christmas time. Coming to the point, I want to ask you just a simple question. Shall we have the knowledge that you have switched your profession from medical to civil services? When today's people, many of today's people, including I myself, we all are planning, struggling, and dreaming to be a part of that medical circle in which you were once in. What gave you the thought and what makes you switch profession and switch your profession, drop down from a high status and restart from the bottom to pursue for another profession? What motivates you and gave you the courage to do it? In addition, or do you think that civil services are more important than medical profession? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, I got it. Yeah, I might have missed out in a little bit about my background. I was never a medical aspirant in the first place. I always wanted to be in civil service. I planned that I will go for engineering course after my 12th. So I prepared for all the engineering entrance exams. So in our time, it was the engineering entrance exams were conducted in the month of mostly April. Okay, so I get 6 engineering exams. Then I was done, and I had nothing to do at that time in 2011. So my friends and my teachers told me to write for medical as well, since I have nothing to do, at that time. I got into engineering as well in some of the reputed colleges, but when I also cleared the medical entrance, my parents somehow persuaded me to go for a medical course. So it was not a change of a plan from medical to civil service. It has been always there. So it's not like, during the medical course I encountered some incident and then I was so touched by it and then I changed to other profession. It's not like that. Well, about your second question, there's nothing like our first resource person had mentioned. There's nothing like another profession is more important than another profession. All are equally important. It's about making our society move forward. Everybody has to contribute. I always used to say, if I am an officer and I enjoy a very good salary, and then if I just come to office and then just sign, some of the very basic certificates and then go back, then I must say that my peon is doing far better, much better job than I do. I have been paid higher salary. I have been given, perks, given respect in the society because I'm expected to perform for our society. So even though I'm an IS officer, if I don't perform, I feel, a cobbler who is doing his job very well is doing much better than me. So it's all about a character in our society. It's not about, big and low. Just one small story. When a parent takes their children, on the roadside, and then he sees, they see a guy who is sweeping the floor in the roadside. The parent said, telling their son, scolding him, if you don't study very hard, you will become like this guy. Okay, this is the tendency our society has today. You don't study very hard, you see that guy who is sweeping the road, you will become like him. Very wrong character. It's not about big or small. We need to change our perspective. Why don't we tell our children like this? My son, if you study very hard, if you work hard in life, and if you become a successful man, you can give a better life to that sweeper. Instead of being very negative about that sweeper, the profession of a sweeper, telling his son that if you don't study hard, you will become like him. That's a very negative perspective of thinking, right? Why don't we just tell our son, if you study so hard in life, if you work hard, you can give that man a better life. So it's about our perspective, not about big or small. Do I answer your question? Okay. Any more? Otherwise, I will. Okay.
Hello, sir. My first question to you is, how did you spend your time in education, life? And second question is, what was the most difficult hardship you faced in your life?
Please come again, I couldn't get it.
My first question to you is, how did you spend your time in education, life? And second question is, what was the most difficult hardship you faced in your life?
Well, spending time in education life, especially when you are in the lower part of your education, especially till maybe class 12. When we say spending time, of course, to confine ourselves to get engaged in reading and studying is the primary job we are supposed to do as a student. But I would always advise the students to get involved in many other things, extracurricular things. Have you heard of the word called adversity quotient? Have you heard of the word called intelligence quotient? IQ? What about EQ? What about SQ? No. What about AQ? Okay, you know IQ and EQ, right? IQ is intelligence quotient, your fitness in comprehension, mathematics and all this. EQ is your emotional quotient, your ability to understand the other people, right? SQ is social quotient. It's your ability to connect with friends and other people in the society, your ability to converse and make connections with others. There is a latest concept called AQ, adversity quotient. You know what is adversity? Adversity is a disaster. It is something unprecedented, like COVID-19 pandemic. We never anticipated such big pandemic will happen. It has affected our lives, right? It has stopped our schools, it has stopped our business, everything. So that was a big adversity for human. Now, adversity quotient is something that prepares an individual for overall development. Now today you are deeply in love with somebody. Tomorrow you broke up. Now you are so sad about it, emotionally broke about it, that you go and suicide yourself. And you want to study a lot in a very good school, but your parents cannot afford you, so you have to end up, quitting your education. You are so broke about it, you suicide your life. Now, adversity quotient is something that prepares an individual in overcoming in such difficult situations. You broke up with your girlfriend dumped you. Now you sit and think, alright, I'm in this situation, what do I do next? Should I die because of her? Or there is a life much ahead of me? I can do much better than this? I can get much better than her? So adversity quotient is something that helps you sail through, that helps you maneuver through when you are in a very difficult situation of your life. So, why I'm telling you this? Today we are in need of adversity quotient because the world is so unpredictable. Today you think IS is a very good profession, it's a very good career choice, respectable, good earning, this and that. 5-10 years from today, it may not be. And it's changing, trust me, the glory and the glamour of the service which the service used to enjoy 10-20 years back, it has faded slowly. And it's for good reason. And I'm very happy about it. Those days, when an IS officer visits somewhere, they were treated most noble like a god. Today, never. It has become so egalitarian. And it's for a good reason. Why do our people have to think of a SDO as a god? It shouldn't have been. Why? Because our people depended on these officers just for basic needs like toilet, drinking water. Okay, when your basic needs is at the hand of somebody, of course you have to consider him like a god. But today, we are no longer in that situation. That means the hard work of all those bureaucrats long time back, the system, the governance, has really helped the living condition of our people. That is why people no longer need bureaucrats as much as it used to be, and which is a very good thing. That means our hard work is paying off. We are developing. We are growing up as a society. So, what you want today may not be what you want tomorrow. Things may change. Now, that is why you need to develop your personality overall. Just reading book, topping in the exam alone, it's not enough. You have to get involved in sports, you have to get involved in fashion show, you have to get involved in singing, dancing, social work, debating competition, elocution. Get involved. Prepare yourself for what may come on your way. Parents and children should not prepare a way for the children. Parents and teachers should not prepare a way for the students. We should prepare the student for whatever way that is ahead of us. Okay, so how do I spend time in education? I'm a very social man. I get involved in almost all activities. When I will, seriously urge you to do the same thing. It will help you develop overall personality. Okay, the second question, toughest thing is, I think when I didn't clear my IIT exam entrance, I cried. I think it was the toughest. So, can I call it a day?
Sir, here. So, sir, first of all, thank you so much once again for coming here and giving us your time. I'm one of the shapers of the Imphal Global Shapers Imphal Hub. Sir, I have two questions. And first, when setbacks come into your life, how do you hold the grip and tame your mind to remain calm and focus on your goals? What do you do? We want to know that. And number two, how do you start and end a day? Thank you.
Yeah, it's a difficult question, right? So the adversity quotient applies to her first question. Our first resource person has rightly said, when you are faced, when you're looking right into a problem, you don't rake. Of course, I can't claim myself to be so calm and composed all the time. If a gun is pointed in my head, I'll rake, of course. But there are some questions people used to ask. Do you follow your heart or your mind? Right? Do you follow your heart or your brain? I will say always follow your brain. The young ones will say always follow your heart. But I'm still young, but I will say always follow your brain, your mind, the logics, the rationality, the ability to comprehend things. When you are facing a problem, when you're in a tough situation, when you follow your heart, you wreck. Right? You wreck. You jump into it. You don't analyze the situation. You don't do the calculations. You wreck into it. And you fall into the trap. So when you are facing a situation, a tough situation, you get yourself calm as much as possible. Try to see all angles possible. Try to picturize all the factors involved in it. Try to come up with a solution. Do not wreck. In philosophy, there is something called Morita therapy. I don't know if you have heard or not. Morita's therapy. They says when you face a problem, people try to, think, I want to get rid of problem, I want to get rid of problem. They try to get rid of problem. The more they try, the more they are trapped. It's like a donkey tied on a pole with a rope. Donkey thinks that he can get rid of the pole, circle around. The more the donkey circles around the pole, the rope gets shorter and then he will get stuck more. So the more you try to rake over a problem, the more you will get stuck. Morita therapy says that accept the problem, think about it, analyze the situation, be calm and composed, accept it, don't deny it, and that's how you overcome. Okay, so yeah, she has one more question left. The second part of her question, how do I start and end my day? I must apologize, I'm not, I tried my best to be very disciplined in this, but I had been failing many times. I'll start with the end part. I always end my day with a Netflix movie. And I will sleep off with the movie. One movie will, take about 1 week to complete. Because I always sleep off in the between. Because hard work in a day make me exhausted, and then I need to find something to make me sleep also. Start a day, it's very rampant. Most of the time I start by a morning jog, but I had been failing, I should say. Yep. So I start my day sometimes with a jog, but sometimes with a breakfast right from the bed. which is very bad practice. You have to be very disciplined in this, I would urge you. Great personalities like Narendra Modi, they have a very disciplined life. They wake up 4 a.m. in the morning, they have a fixed schedule, what to do with your day. You have to be very efficient in managing your time and what you are supposed to do. But which I'm not good at it, and I'm still struggling to do it. Yeah.
This will be the last question for Dr. Angshim, okay? Because we're running out of time.
Yeah, this is also my last question. And sir, you said you once was in medical field as a doctor. I want to ask you that can an unhealthy person, a weak person, become a doctor one day? Like to myself, I'm giving myself an example because I am the best example. I am always sick and I'm not able to attend regular classes, and I came today but I never attend classes before and I don't know the teachers much or anyone, but still I want to I'm really interested in study and I really have like this weakness that in my health condition that I cannot study as much as I like. And if I wanted to study for around 30 minutes or 1 hour, then I cannot do. If I say 1 hour, I'll study only 30 minutes because my strength cannot take it anymore and I will be dizzy, and that's what I get always. And so can an unhealthy person overcome these difficulties, and can you give me some guidance, and can I become a doctor one day if with this unhealthy life? With this sick life? Thank you.
Sure you can. Medical profession really demands hard work, no doubt about it. Both when you are pursuing the course as well as after the course, when you're actually a doctor. However, you said if you study for about an hour, you get exhausted physically. You just need to find a customized solution for that. Of course, as a medical student, you are expected to read a lot. The syllabus is very huge. You are expected, that's a demand. But one thing that you can do is that the classes, number one, the classrooms, the practicals, the clinical classes, you need to be very attentive, because that way it will somehow help you, your table time. The need for you to sit down on a table and then get engaged in a book, it will help you reduce a little bit if you are really attentive in the classrooms and then the clinical classes, number one. Because medical, it's not like your present class, right? In medical course, the classrooms are very practical. You deal with dead bodies, cadavers, dissections and all this. It's interesting. You will not be that physically drained out. Alright, so you have to pay attention in such classes, number one, so that you can reduce your table time for study, number one, okay? And number two, when you study also, you have to find, like I said, customized solution for yourself. You study in such a way that you don't sit for so long hours at a time. You take breaks. You sit for maybe 20 minutes, but 20 minutes should be worth. It should be a real study. You then open book, sit down, and then see your Instagram in the phone, sit for 20 minutes and call it as a 20-minute study. That's not going to work. So you have to sit 20 minutes, full concentration, take break, do what you love to do, go out for a walk, sing something, come back, break up your study times. That will somehow help you physically. And number three, of course you can become a doctor. It's not going to be, somehow it will help you, it will little bit disturb you, but it's not going to be a stumbling block for you to become a doctor. You can become. And in fact, when you become a doctor, when you start studying medicine, the medical knowledge that you will gain from your course will somehow also help you in overcoming your physical issue, your health issue. You will be well informed about your own health issue, that you can take good care about it. So there are no such things that you cannot become a doctor. You need not get demotivated because of that. Okay, Yeah, thank you so much. It was nice interacting with you all. I wish you all the best. I wish you good luck for both the students as well as the Global Sappers community. Yeah, thank you. Have a nice afternoon, everyone.